Hi friends, Bishop Rob here with you, and it's time for another Bible review. And this time we are taking a look at the New English Bible with the Apocrypha from Cambridge. This is a 1970 edition of the New English Bible with the Apocrypha. This was a ecumenical Bible translation that was completed in the UK across a span of about a decade. The final text was released in 1970. This is a 1971 printing from Cambridge University Press in New York. You have a wide array of churches in the UK that participated, and this particular edition includes the Apocrypha. So this is interesting. I had many copies of the New English Bible in seminary, and I kind of got rid of them. But I really longed for the layout, and so I found this one for actually $20 on Abe Books and picked it up. So this is a water buffalo calf skin. I've had it for a couple weeks now. I've noticed there's some aging, so you've got the liner is starting to pull away. I think I can probably fix that. You'll notice some yellowing, particularly of the front pages here. Okay, I don't know. The ribbon's still in decent shape for what it is, but it could probably stand to be reused or replaced. And then there are just some places throughout. You'll notice in here where there is some more wear than others, and the cover has somewhat discolored and everything. So anybody who's got some insight on maybe ways I can revitalize that would be great. It doesn't have a yap, so it's just got a little bit of an overhang. It does have a perimeter stitch. There's no gild line. There's kind of the hint of something here you may notice where the I don't know, it feels like there should be something there, but there's not. Yeah. So what really sets, in my opinion, the translation's great. It is going to be in a little stilted English compared to what we here in the modern era, if you will, 50 some odd years later, almost actually probably 60 years later, would use. But like, for example, here's the beginning of Genesis. In the beginning of creation, when God made heaven and earth, the earth was without form and void, with darkness over the face of the abyss, and a mighty wind that swept over the surface of the waters. So that's Genesis chapter 1, verses 1 and 2. So it gives you a little bit of a sense of what's in there. The footnote at the bottom, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Alternative reading, or the Spirit of God hovering, talking about over the waters. You see here a couple of points. We have verse numbers all in the side, and where it is necessary within the text, you do have your footnote markers and things like that. But for the most part, it is left without any indication about versification, just because the idea is to create a more organic reading experience. And so you continue through, and we see this justified setup. Your verse numbers are always on the outside. You have your headers for different sections. Your chapter numbers are going to be larger and more pronounced, but they're still here in the side. So again, it's dealt more as, if you the clear divisions are more on the basis of the story being told in a particular portion. It may or may not line up with your chapter. So you do have minimal notes across the bottom. This is not a study edition. Here we're in 2 Kings, for example. Here's the word of the Lord that was spoken. So there's we've got here some indentions. Let's move forward to Job is a book of poetry. So clearly it's laid out a little bit differently. Get into the Psalms, similarly, a different layout. It's a little odd of a layout to me in the Psalms because it's not necessarily consistent in terms of, like the indentions don't always make a whole lot of sense to me. But typically speaking, from a liturgical perspective, we're not reading the Psalms out of this. We're usually reading the Psalms out of a liturgical translation. Move forward into the New Testament. And again, it's a black letter text, large pages of text, very few interruptions, a true reader's edition. And in the back here, after Revelation, in this particular edition, you simply have some blank in sheets where you could put various notes and such. Picking up a copy of this for me, especially at $20, was just a fact of nostalgia, I think. I will look to this particular translation. I will probably read some material out of it in private devotional time. But I do think that the Revised English Bible text has largely supplanted this if I wanted something in a similar kind of British English native speaking register. But it was just something worth picking up. I was able to find it at the price. It's really the precursor of my love for single column Bibles. Probably my favorite single column Bible, and I wish it had the Deuterocanonicals in it. This is the Tyndale Select NLT. And you can see it takes that single column layout. It does preserve verse numbers in the text, which I actually personally prefer that. It gets your references, your cross references out here on the sides and so forth. This is like my primo Bible. I just wish it had the Deuterocanonicals. But for me, as somebody who has a bit of sensory processing issue, the double column format just does not work for me. And so this is what introduced me to single column, and then various NLTs today are what keep me in the single column. And I'm really hopeful that we'll get an NRSVUE soon in single column as well. Hope that this has been interesting and useful to you. If so, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. So that about wraps it up. Again, I'm Rob Lyons, and thank you for joining me.